What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Demolition Man, starring Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. Now, I'm going to make this review as short as I possibly can. Demolition Man is my favorite Sylvester Stallone movie. Now, I was never a huge Sylvester Stallone fan growing up as a kid. I always related more to Arnold Schwarzenegger over Sylvester Stallone. But that does not mean I don't like Sylvester Stallone movies. There are a handful of movies that I do enjoy, and Demolition Man is the one that stands out to me above all the rest. I think this movie kicks absolute ass. I like this movie on the same level that I like, we'll say, Commando. Though I think Demolition Man is a much more sharply written, much more sharp, and much more sharper movie. So the story of Demolition Man is this: Sylvester Stallone plays this cop named John Spartan, who is good at one thing, and that's causing mass destruction while trying to take down the bad guys. And he's on the hunt for this killer named Simon Phoenix, played by Wesley Snipes. Now, in the prologue of this movie, we see 1996 downtown LA. It is a battle zone. It looks just the most like the most grimmest place in the world. And we see Spartan apprehend Phoenix. However, we learn that the building that John Spartan blew up had hostages in there. And after Spartan did a thermal check to make sure there were no hostages, it's revealed that the hostages were indeed inside said building. Spartan was sentenced to be cryogenically frozen. He awakens about 40 years later after Phoenix is awoken, and that's where the fun really begins. So, Demolition Man is one of those movies that when you watch it today, given what's been going on lately in the world, this movie is eerily has predicted a very eerily a very eerie future. You know, we live in a world where toilet paper, of all things, is on a shortage. Demolition Man did that first. There's no toilet paper in Demolition Man. You have to use these things called three she shells, which they never really explain how to use those things. Um, because of the whole COVID bullshit, we can no longer shake hands or high five people. Demolition Man did that first. How you say hi? You do something like this. Weird ass shit. Now that Demolition Man takes place in the future, takes place in a society where if you swear, if you drink or do drugs or stuff like that, you get these fines and you go to prison. Pretty much 1996, the first half, the prologue of this movie takes place in 1996, and it's gritty, it's dark, and it's violent. Then when you flash forward to the 40 years, the world is has changed differently. It's cheery, it's sanitized, it's politically correct, and that's what it's kind of similar to how this world is now. How everyone wants to be PC, everybody wants to be political correct. Nobody wants to take a chance or think outside the box. They want to stay inside the box. Demolition Man predicted a very eerie future. And for that, looking back at it, it's actually pretty cool and pretty scary all at the same time. So, with all that being said, let's talk about the cast. I think the cast in this movie is great. Sylvester Stallone as John Spartan is a badass. I love the character of John Spartan, and I think Sylvester Stallone in this movie puts on one of his best performances in an action movie. He is great. Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix. You can tell Wesley Snipes is just hamming it up and having a ball playing this villain. And Stallone and Snipes have really good on-screen chemistry with one another. I like it a lot. I love when they banter these insults of one another. It just works for me. I love it a lot. We also have a great supporting cast that's backed by Dennis Leary, Sandra Bullock, Benjamin Bratt, and Bob Gunton. You know, actors like that, and they all play their roles really, really well. I like the character of Lena Huxley as well, too. I think Sandra Bullock did a good job playing in this movie. I like how she plays. She is somebody who was born into this sanitized world, so she doesn't know what kind of. She doesn't know. She only knows about the extremeness of police work from the era of John Spartan through archival footage and things like that. So when these cops actually see it up close, it's jarring to them because they don't know how to handle this kind of violence. No, murder, death, kills, 187. So it's fun seeing this sanitized world in an element that's completely alien to them. You know, they think that John Spartan is the primate, and John Spartan thinks they're just a bunch of dum dums. So I like that. I like how Spartan interacts with this future. He's a fish out of water, and it works. I like it. That's some of the best stuff. That's some of the best parts of this movie as well. The action set pieces. This movie is wall to wall action, and I think all the action is really well done. The shootout at the museum is really fun. The ending climax where Stallone and Snipes have their hand to hand fight, that's very entertaining as well. The overall aesthetic of this movie looks beautiful. I think the director, Marco Brambella, really gave this movie a distinct visual style. And like I mentioned earlier, he was able to distinct the gritty 1996 and the sanitized world of the future 40 years later. And I think he created a good balance between the two, and you get a distinct visual in the way both those worlds work. And you have John Spartan, who's pretty much the link between those worlds. He's a fish out of water, you know. He's pretty much a man all unto himself. And again, I thought Stallone did a good job. And also, like I mentioned before, I think Brambilla did a great job directing all the action sequences in this movie. This movie has got wall to wall action, full of great one liners, very a thought provoking story that's really interesting. Like it's like the deconstruction of humanity. You know what I'm saying? That's what Demolition Man is, and it works for me. I love it a lot. If I do have some criticism with it, this movie has Jesse Ventura in it, and Ventura, you would blink and you would miss it. That's how little his role is in this movie. He brings absolutely nothing to the table. That's a damn shame. The character of Edgar Friendly, played by Dennis Leary. I like Dennis Leary. I think Dennis Leary is hilarious, and I like him in this movie. I thought he was really funny as well. There's this whole subplot where Leary is leading this resistance to take down the politically correct world, and it's actually this man named Cocteau who defrosts Simon to take down the friendly character. See, that stuff I don't mind. That stuff I thought was okay. It's just a Jesse Ventura thing that I didn't really care for that much. And I thought the Benjamin Bratt character of Garcia was a little bit underutilized. He doesn't really get a whole lot to do, and I would like to see more development with his character as well, since this movie pretty much presents the trio of Garcia, Huxley, and Spartan. But I think Huxley gets more of the screen time than Garcia does. I would have had Garcia do a little bit more, kind of see his evolution into the badass that we see at the end of the movie, where he's standing arm in arm with Friendly, ready to go to war. Uh, I think the character of Bob Gunton, who plays the police chief, he comes across as just a douche. I would have liked to have seen his character go through a little bit more of an arc and kind of get away from his douchiness instead of saying, "Oh, you're going back to the freezer, John Spartan. You're primitive. You're an ape." You know, you would think this guy got a clue after seeing Phoenix in action, but no, he continues to be a dum dum. I would like to have seen his character go through more of an evolution, to be honest with you. This movie leaves a mystery that it teases that, but it doesn't really go for, which is Spartan had a wife and a child. His wife died, and we don't know what happened to his child. And I would have liked to get some closure on that. I think the rumor is that Huxley was supposed to be Spartan's daughter, but that was just an online. I think that's just that was like an original version of the script, or something like that. But it doesn't really hint. It's not really hinted at in the movie. However, Huxley and Spartan do have an underlying romance that develops throughout the movie, and I thought that was actually really well done. I thought Bullock and Stallone have really decent on-screen chemistry with one another. I enjoyed them, and I thought Sandra Bullock handled her scenes really, really well too. So yeah, those are just my overall thoughts on Demolition Man. Overall, I'm gonna give Demolition Man a 9 out of 10. This movie is great. It's my favorite Stallone movie, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, there's a lot more to talk about with this movie, but those are just my general thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.